Καλημέρα παιδιά από τον Ναύπλιο. Let's enjoy this view before we get into the video. Come with me. Let's enjoy this view very quickly. It's so peaceful. It's early in the morning, of course. I don't know if you can tell by the way the sun is hitting. It's a beautiful day, beautiful morning. I was not going to make a video this early in the morning because I take this time to reflect, but I couldn't help thinking about certain things that I want to share with you here in this short video, and hopefully it will inspire you or give you some insight into what is it like to live here in Greece. And if you've been thinking about relocating to Greece, this will be a video that will give you enough insight in order for you to take the decision. If you're seeking external validation, or if you're seeking external confirmation about relocating here to Greece, or to any country for that matter, then you're not ready. Okay, as you can imagine, I get a lot of questions and messages from people asking me about life here in Greece. And of course, because my whole channel is about a foreigner living here in Greece, I really appreciate you guys that has been sending me messages and has been writing in the comment section that I am not a foreigner, that I am Greek. I really appreciate you, and thank you so much for the kind words. And yes, when you live in a country for many, many years, you will adapt and you will become that person of that country, like I have. Because I have lived here the longest of any other country that I have lived throughout my life. And I have lived in different countries, by the way, not for a short period of time, but for long periods of time. So I have reinvented my life multiple times, starting from scratch with no connections, nothing. So when I get questions from you guys that want to relocate to Greece, both foreigners and Greeks themselves that live abroad, okay? A lot of you guys from Australia, Canadians, even American Greeks, that want to come back, and, the whole a story of how your parents left Greece back in the day and you were born abroad, and now you're trying to come back to Greece. And that's something that I did not expect to have when I created this channel, because this channel was the main idea, I guess, was to just share my life as a foreigner living here in Greece. I had no idea that I was going to connect with Greeks living abroad. So I am really humble by that. In fact, I've been stopped here in Nafplio by Australians, Americans, that they are Greeks, but they live abroad and they're here on a holiday. But they've been watching my channel back home, where they live. So I'm very humble for that my channel and my content can inspire Greeks living abroad that want to come back to Greece, okay? Because yes, Greece needs people. There's a recent report, I don't want to talk too much about this, but there's a recent report talking about the population decline here in Greece, okay? And I guess I want to bring this up for the trolls and the haters that accuse me of creating content promoting life here in Greece. Unfortunately, here in Greece, we have a big problem with population because it's in the decline. People are not having kids, so not many people are being born as they should. And the projection is that by 2050, the population will have declined quite a lot here in Greece. You can do your own research about this. We have a big problem because we have a lot of elderly people here in Greece, and young people are not having kids, all right? This is a topic for another video for sure, because I know that I'm going to get a lot of Greeks in the comment section saying how hard life is here. And this is not about this, okay? This video is not about this. This video is for people that want to move to Greece. And I want to help you take that decision. But understand that if you're asking that question, you're not ready to move to Greece, or to any country for that matter, okay? But I just wanted to say that on the side, that I'm trying to do my bit for Greece, or I'm trying to look for ways to defend myself, I should say, from the trolls, okay, from the Greek trolls here on the channel, when they attack me because I do videos about life in Greece and why you should come to Greece either as a tourist or as someone who wants to live here, all right? And I got plenty of comments, believe it or not, from Greeks saying that I shouldn't have my kids here in Greece, that I should have stayed in the UK. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. But these videos are not for you. These videos are for people who are interested in relocating to Greece and that share a passion and love for Greece, all right? I'm glad I took that off my chest. Now, if you're asking this question, that if Greece is in a position to receive people or if the economy is good enough for you to move here to Greece, you're not ready. I moved to Greece from the UK in the midst of the Greek crisis. And actually, I moved here in the midst of the global crisis after 2008. You have to understand that in 2008, I was living in the UK. And by the time that crisis came here to Greece, by the time I arrived here, there was a massive delay, and that happened in those years. Okay, so when I arrived here in 2010, it was just the beginning of the hard years of Greece. So I lived through the whole economical crisis, the whole economic crisis here in Greece, the austerity. I lived the whole thing. If I would have known that before I relocated here to Greece, I would have probably still made the move because I was so committed to just moving to Greece. I mean, there was nothing that could have stopped me from moving here to Greece. Unless there was a war or something horrible happened, of course. But within reason, I was just committed to come. And a lot of people were telling me different stories and different reasons of why I shouldn't move to Greece. Loved ones, you know. You know how many people told me that don't think that living here in Greece is the same as when you come to Greece for a holiday. You know, one thing is to come to Greece on a holiday, right? And another thing is to live here in Greece. Well, to those people, I tell you this is just another day in my life in Greece. Okay? I could literally go for a swim right now in that beach if I wanted to. And it's a weekday as I'm recording this. I'm not on holiday. All right? And I'm not saying this to brag either. This is not by mistake. This has been well designed and well executed. It has taken me 10 years to live this lifestyle like this. Okay? 10 years. But you're going to get a lot of negativity. And you're going to get a lot of negativity from loved ones. You're going to get a lot of negativity, unfortunately, from many Greeks as well. I'm here telling you this because the negativity that I got from loved ones that are Greeks, they just wanted to protect me from the Greek economy, from hardships. Okay, and this is part of human nature, you know. Humans are just really negative by default. And if you understood what's going on here in Greece when it comes to the economy and politics and all of this and the mindset of the population, you will understand why they feel like that. And I truly have a lot of compassion for people that leave comments here in the channel, negative comments, because I understand where they're coming from. They're in a certain level of pain about Greece, and they think they can know me on a personal level by watching a 10-minute video about my life here in Greece. But I can tell that they're in an immense pain when it comes to the economy and the culture and what's been happening here in Greece. And the comments, unfortunately, they sound like a news TV report, you know, which is a big problem here in this country. And that's going to be a topic for another video as well. There's a lot of consumption of media, right? But I know that is true as well in America and in England as well. The news is like 24 hours on a loop. And I used to do that back in the day when I was working in the Cafenillo. I will open the Cafenillo at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I will just put Sky News or whatever channel, you know, the customers wanted to watch. And I will be in the Cafenillo with a massive TV, 6 o'clock in the morning, having my coffee and watching the Greek local news. Okay? And this is back in 2011, my friend. Okay? Guess what I was watching? I was watching the hot topic of the day, which is the Greek crisis, the Greek austerity. It was a terrible time to be here in Greece, and yet I was here raising my 2-year-old daughter at the time, 1-year-old daughter, actually. And here I am today. I'm very glad I went through that, because here I am today doing these videos, and I am extremely happy that I live in this country. Okay, but if you're asking that question of, should I move to Greece with my family? Should I just relocate because, you're not ready. You're asking the wrong question. You know the answer already. You're just not brave enough to make the move. Another thing is to contact me and send me a message. And I'm not trying to reject your messages. Please do contact me, because this is something that I do. In fact, you can go to my website and contact me, because I offer this as a service, right? And yes, there is a fee, because I get endless messages about this, and it's impossible for me to answer this on an Instagram message. I don't know your situation. You need to apply in order for me to get to know you better, to talk about what you want to know about Greece, right? It's such a personal thing. But if you're asking this question, should I move to Greece and should I just leave my old life behind? It's such a personal question that I don't have the answer for that. When I made the move here, I was just committed on that. But that's just me, But it was the same when we moved from Elefsina here to Nafplio. And we moved here in the midst of the pandemic. It's just crazy stories, man. I'm not making this up. You cannot make this up. Okay, so we arrived here in Nafplio right when the pandemic hit. We arrived on a Friday, and on Monday, the following Monday, there was the lockdowns. Here in Greece, it was a hardcore lockdown. You couldn't leave the house. And whenever you wanted to leave the house, you had to text the government to tell them that you were going to go outside to buy milk or whatever. So everything will be against you when you want to do something important. And somehow you are going to create your own obstacles. And that's the resistance within, all right? Because it's scary. You want to burn your boats, so to speak. You want to burn the boats and come to the other side. But in your mind, you're going to create resistance, because it's an important move and nobody can take that decision for you. Even I can't help you with that decision. It's up to you to do that to make that decision. It's no walk in the park to pack your bags and move to another country, especially if you have kids and you have a family. So I know this from experience, man. This is not a theory. This is not me reading a book about it. This is experience, all right? And if I rewind a little bit more in my life, when I was living in Venezuela, for those of you who are new to the channel, I grew up in Venezuela. So I left Venezuela many, many years ago. Okay, many years ago. And when I wanted to move to the UK, to London, more specifically to London, people were telling me the same thing. London is the most expensive city in the world. It's way too big. You don't know anybody. You have no connection. There's no jobs for you. You're too young, right? What are you going to do? The only thing I had in favor was a British passport, because I was born in England. I had people in Venezuela telling me, don't go to London, go to a smaller town. And I said, no, I'm going to London. I was born in London. My goal is to go back to the place of my birth, because I grew up in Venezuela. I was born in England, born in London, but I grew up in Venezuela. And I always had this idea that one day I will go to the place of my birth, not to check it out and to take a picture with a big band in the background and say I was born here, but to actually live there. I want to experience life as a British person, right? And I did that. I was very committed, and I was all in this. I was so much in it that I was willing to do anything, whatever it took, okay? And when I say this, is stuff like the military service. For example, in Venezuela back in the day, it was not compulsory to do the military service once you reach 18, but there is a system that was in place back then, and you had to prove that you were either a student or you have some kind of health issues in order to not do the military service. I don't remember exactly the specifications anyways, but when I was getting my papers ready, because I got my British passport while I was living in Venezuela, even though I could have traveled as a Venezuelan with a Venezuelan passport to England and then fix my papers there because I was born there, I was willing to do the military service in England if that's something that was required from me. You have to understand that I was so much into this goal that whatever obstacles was going to come my way, I was committed to accomplish this. Obviously, I was very ignorant and very naive back then because I was in Venezuela, but that's a thought that came to my mind. Like, what if they ask me to go to England and do military service because it's compulsory? And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I have gotten this type of questions here on the channel, you know? Because here in Greece, if you're a boy, it is compulsory to do the Greek military service. For those of you who are Greek and watching this, if you've been watching this far already, leave it in the comment section. But all the Greeks that I know, they have done their military service. I have 2 girls, you know, I have 2 daughters, so they don't have to do this. So I'm not really informed, but I believe that all Greek boys up until today, as I'm recording this video in 2024, I believe it's compulsory once you reach a certain age and you have to go into the military service. But my point is that I was willing to do that in order for me to move to England. And I was committed and I was all in. I arrived in England with very little money, man. Nothing, 500 British pounds. When I tell this type of stories and the details and everything and how everything unfolded, most people will not do it. I mean, even me, if I go back and think about it and put everything into perspective, I will probably think about it. I will probably think it twice to make the move, because in the moment you feel scared. In the moment you feel like there's no security, but yeah, there's no security of anything really. A security is an illusion that we have. And I know I'm getting a little bit too philosophical again in this video because it's early in the morning and I tend to do this when I shoot these early morning videos. But it's the reality. And nobody is going to give you that security. Nobody can give you the security of you moving to any country for that matter. Nobody. Unfortunately, there's a lot of negative press as well about Greece. There's a recent report about Greece being the most depressed country, which I believe is complete nonsense, man. There's a big YouTube channel that did that video about this. And I left a comment underneath that video, by the way, saying that this is complete nonsense, man. This is just a propaganda from the media, from abroad, in order to bring this country down. That's my belief. And I'm not somebody that believes in conspiracies or anything like that, but I do believe that Greece has been an easy target for the media for years. When it comes to the economy and when it comes down to the beauty of this country. And I understand that because Greece is in a very important position in the world geographically, okay? And there's a lot of things at stake here. I don't want to get political or geopolitical because this channel is not about that. This channel is certainly not about that. This channel is about this, okay? And my Greek lifestyle. But if you consume this type of content, it's very easy to get scared. You know, I mean, even Greeks that consume this content, they feel happy when somebody's doing a negative content about their own country for a reason, because they want to reaffirm that, yes, in fact, Greece is not what people say it is. Greece is not what I'm portraying here, but I'm not making this up. This is here, man. I'm not creating this. This is not a green screen. This is here. This has always been here. All right? And yet people tell me that Greece is not just the sun and the sea. And I say, yes, it is. Greece is exactly just the sun and the sea. And because of that, the economy is what it is. It's a strong economy that depends on the tourism. Now, can things be better? Of course they can be better. But what are you doing about it? You're leaving a negative comment underneath my videos. That's what you're doing about it. Now, I don't want this video to be personal, okay? I don't want this video to be personal at all. This video is for you, the person that wants to move here to Greece, all right? But if you're asking that question, should I move to Greece? You're not ready. If you're looking for confirmations from outside yourself, especially if you have Greek relatives. I have a lot of guys that are watching my channel that they have Greek relatives that they live here, and you're Greek living abroad, and your relatives over here are telling you to not move to Greece, okay? That's because you've been writing about this to me. You've been contacting me and saying this to me, and I believe you because that's exactly what we were getting when we were living in England, okay? So you're gonna have to overcome that. I can't help you with that, apart from doing videos like this. But I got that same messages. In the beginning, it's like, oh, maybe Daniel can come here to Greece and work in the cafeteria. And as soon as I run with that idea, and maybe I can create a life here in Greece, then they started to have doubts. And they say, like, actually, we want you to be here, but it's not a good idea because, hey, Greece is not very good, actually, when it comes to the economy. Everybody's broke, apparently, and I'm here to tell you that not everybody is broke here in Greece. And it's the purpose of my channel as well, that there is something else. There is another side to Greece. Okay, especially if you're watching a lot of the media, you're watching a lot of Greek media and news. But even if you live abroad, Greece was on the media quite recently because a lot of tourists died when they were going for hikes. My blood was boiling with the comments in these news reports that they were all on YouTube, obviously. It's just unbelievable. Man, I was yesterday here. It was 2 o'clock Messimeri, all right? The amount of tourists that I saw, we're in a big mountain. I mean, just to give you a little bit of perspective, look how high we are. Okay, the beach is down there. In order to get here, you need to climb a big hill, all right, in order to get to this part. I was here yesterday with my car, inside my car with air conditioning, and I can see tourists with young kids coming up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun was so intense yesterday, so intense, unhealthy. It was so dry, so hot. The amount of tourists and visitors that I saw coming up that hill was just unbelievable. With young kids as well. People do not listen. So even if I wanted to convince people of something, they're not gonna listen, So when people see reports about tourists dying here in Greece because they went for a hike or they're just walking in the middle of Messimeri, again, talking bad about the country, that there is no infrastructure here, that, is the Greek fault for not informing the tourists to not go out in Messimeri and all of this. If you watch this type of content, you're going to convince yourself that, yeah, Greece is dangerous. I even saw in a comment from America, I think it was America, in the comment section of one of those reports that Americans are being targeted here in Greece. So if you consume content like this, and if you are brainwashing yourself, or if you are actually looking for excuses or for reasons not to come to Greece or not to move to Greece, you are gonna find them, okay? Because you're gonna see that you're attracting what you're seeking. So if you're looking for that, like confirmation that, hey, should I go to Greece? I have my doubts. My relatives or people are saying that Greece is bad, especially Greeks. Not all Greeks are like this, by the way, okay? But if you're looking for validation, what you're gonna be hearing is a lot of negativity, okay? Because somehow it's socially acceptable to go from Greece to Germany or from Greece to a northern country in search of a better life. For example, if you're Greek and you say to somebody here in Greece, I'm moving to the UK because I'm in search of a better life, everybody here in Greece is going to say, well done to you. You should have done that years ago. It's a reality. And I know that for a fact because even in Venezuela, we are like that. In Venezuela, as soon as you say, I'm going to America, I'm going to the States in search of a better life, everybody in Venezuela will say to you, well done, I congratulate you for that. We're just wired to believe and to somehow have this perception that other countries is better than our own country. Now, today, as a Venezuelan that lives abroad for many, many years, there's one thing that I have never done in my life, and that is talk bad about my country online or leave a negative comment about my own country online on somebody else's video. Ever. And I have plenty of reasons to talk bad about Venezuela because of my upbringing and experiences that I had in Venezuela. But I will never talk bad about my own country with all the difficulties that it has had. I lived so many years away from Venezuela that I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that anymore. Maybe in the beginning I felt like I needed excuses to leave my own country, because we do need excuses to leave our own country. If you want to relocate here to Greece, you need to convince yourself that where you're living right now is worse than here in Greece. That's just the mindset. And that's what the Greeks get angry about this type of videos, because they can't fathom the idea of somebody living here by choice, because they want to go somewhere else, and they have to convince themselves that here in Greece is worse than in Italy or whatever. Okay? And I understand that. I understand that mindset, because you have to do that, you know? You have to do that. And that's why you have to brainwash yourself, so to speak, or believe, okay? Belief is nothing more than a repeated thought, all right? Which you believe to be true. That's faith, actually. Doesn't matter if it's true or not, but it's faith. You're thinking about it, you're believing it, you're repeating that thought to yourself. Okay, without getting too philosophical again, but I convinced myself that my life here in Greece will be better than living in the UK. And that was a tough thing for me to do, because I've been brainwashed my whole life to believe that England, especially London, is the place to be, because I was born there. And it's London. Who on earth will say no to London? Okay? Well, Londoners, of course. You know, once you live in England and you live in London, you will understand that certain things are the way they are. And I still have friends that live in London. They have families, they live happy lives. You know, and I understand it's a choice. Okay? But for me, I had to convince myself that living here in Greece was better than my life in London. And I had to convince myself before this manifested, before I created this lifestyle here. And it was a tough thing to do. It was tougher than convincing myself that Venezuela was a bad country when I compare it to England. Okay? Because yes, if you live in Venezuela, it's very easy to say, like, you know what? Things in Venezuela are really, really hard. They have always been hard. And that's way before Chavez and Maduro. Again, I don't want to get political here, but I had to convince myself back then that my life in Venezuela was bad. And it wasn't, my friend. It was not that. I had a girlfriend. I had a dream job. I had friends. I had a life in Venezuela. I had no reasons to move to England. And yet I took that bet. I decided to do that. But I had to convince myself that my life in Venezuela was bad. But it wasn't. But I had to tell myself that story. Because otherwise it's too painful to leave. It's too painful to quit your job. I had to, give up everything. I gave up my friends. I quit the relationship that I had at the time with a girlfriend. I was young, man. I was in my early 20s. But my life was that, So I understand that it's very hard to relocate to a place. I understand what it takes in order for people to just say no to their current situation where they live in order to go somewhere else. My job with this type of videos is to document my life here in Greece and share that with you. I've been so passionate about Greece that I came across quite recently a Facebook post that I did back in the day. This is almost like 10 years ago, right in the midst of the Greek crisis here, the austerity measures and all of that. And it struck me like how much passion I had even back then about Greece. Because I was enraged with whatever was happening here. I should have started that YouTube channel back then. And it's a very interesting thing that I wrote there in that Facebook post, talking about Greece and the Greek economy and how Greek society and the culture was portrayed by the media. And I said, you know what? We're over here, man. And we're in the summer, and you're over there. And you talk bad about Greece, and you're talking about the economy and how bad things are over here. But hey, we're going for a swim right now. You're over there. And you wish you were over here. And I was so passionate about it in that post. I was angry. Okay? Because I have just relocated from the UK here to Greece. And yes, I did not want anybody to convince me that my life here in Greece was bad. And even though it was bad because of the Cafeneo years and because that Cafeneo business did not work out and I was in terrible financial hardship, here I am today, man. It was a necessary step for me to go through in my life in order to be here today doing this video. there's nothing bad that has ever happened to me that I haven't turned it around. So if you don't have that type of mindset, you're not going to move not only to Greece, you're not going to move anywhere. And Greeks that want to go somewhere else, if you don't have this mindset, you're not going to go anywhere else. You're going to still be living with your mom, complaining about unemployment. There's plenty of jobs around, man. You're just not willing to do it, right? Don't get angry with me, because in Venezuela, we have the same issue. This is not something that is exclusive to the Greeks, okay? You take everything so personally because you feel that everything is happening to you here in Greece. In Venezuela, we suffer the same conditions that Greeks suffer. Even worse, because in Venezuela, it's a third world country, and actually the situation in Venezuela right now is 100 times worse than here in Greece, all right? So, I'm getting a little bit wind up now. Forgive me about this. Is supposed to be a video that was meant to give you insights into relocating here to Greece. And I don't know if it's helping you achieve that. But this applies to any country for that matter. I get a lot of comments that whatever I say about Greece, it can be applied to any country. And yeah, that is true, because we as people, we're the same. Wherever you go, people are the same. It's just different cultures, but things apply everywhere you go. And everybody wants the same thing, a better life. Everybody wants shelter, happiness, love, care, and affection. And yes, a place to live, somewhere to be happy. We all want the same things. But it's your choice to know where you want to experience that life. And for me, I choose Greece. And yes, I choose the sea and the sun. That's good enough for me, my friend. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I'll see you in another video, my friend.